Whitetail Edge is brought to you by Black Widow Deer Lures, Redneck Blinds, Rocky, Antler King, Rogue Bowstrings.
State. And I'm hunting out of a Redneck Ghillie blind tonight on the edge of a standing bean field. And what I got here is I got a big block of timber here, kind of to my northwest. And right here in the corner where I've got this blind, there's a tree line that comes in and hits this block. And this tree line's only about 55 yards long, and there's a gap in it. And that's where the farmers go from one big field to the next. And there's bedding on this side of the field too. So that's so these deer, what they do is they come out of this bedding area. They like to hit this secluded bean field here, and they work in it. They feed in it, and then as it starts to get dark, they head on out into the bigger field. I've got an Antler King food plot in the backpack here. There's already deer on it. Hard part is I can't get in there right now. Wind's too shaky for that.
So for me, the season has already been pretty successful. You know, we've had a great kill in Kentucky that I killed my first velvet buck on. We got the One Wish Foundation hunt with Andrew Schlegel. Got him his first buck. I took my son Briar out. Got him a nice buck early season. We've just had a great year. Now it's my turn.
So why does Whitetail Edge use Black Widow deer lures? It's 100% pure whitetail deer urines. It's never brown or broken down. Black Widow deer lures are always fresh, collected and bottled within 24 hours of collection to guarantee freshness. So why should you use Black Widow deer lures? Because it works. Visit www.blackwidowdeerlures.com.
So I've been after this buck, you know, on cameras all summer. I started getting his pictures early and started watching him develop. And I mean, I could tell he was going to be a really big deer. I didn't know if he would go boon or not, but I just knew he was an old buck and that he was definitely mature and he could be harvested. You know, the deer spent a lot of time on my farm that I was hunting. I could tell that his core area was in two spots and it was very small. I mean, this deer basically was spending all his time on about 50 acres, you know, and it had the perfect setup. You know, I had some Antler King clover planted in one area for him, and he liked to hang out on that plot a lot. But there were standing beans also in the center of this farm that he was just hammering all the time. Well, I had my Redneck Ghillie blind set up from even the year before in one intersection of this farm where two blocks of timber meet, and then you've got the standing beans right in the center. And at the other side, I had my food plot. But the food plot that I had really wasn't a hunting plot. It was more of I call it like a sustaining plot, a plot for just them to be close to bedding, have a place to eat, and feel safe. You know, there's times I'll hunt that plot, but this early in the season, I wasn't going to try to hunt it. This deer was moving enough by my Redneck Ghillie blind and my camera that I felt that I could harvest him there going to the other bean field if I bid my time right. Finally, I decided, you know what, it's time. It's like October 8th or 9th. I called Javin up. I said, hey, can you hunt with me tonight? I think I can get on this deer. So we got the right wind. We get out to the farm. We get into the Redneck Ghillie blind, and deer start to move right off the bat, coming into those standing beans. As we're sitting in the blind, I can see some antlers coming. A couple bucks enter the field. And it wasn't very long, and the target buck shows up on the field. That deer left the field and went the other direction. So we just let it be. We gave the farm a couple days to cool off, and I thought, you know what? I've got a triple cherry tree in that end of the farm. You know, maybe he's decided to, you know, kind of call that side of the farm home for the time being. I was getting his pictures on both ends of the field, those stills. So I knew that he was there, and I knew it was only a matter of time. But me and Javin decided to go back in one more time and actually hunt a tree stand that I had close to that area where we had the first encounter.
Literally just got in the tree, got this camera stand on, and there's deer in the field as we're doing it. Holy smokes. You can see my beautiful fruit plot over there. That honey hole is just kicking butt. Antler King honey hole.
Once me and Javin got up into that tree stand, you know, I had actually worked a mock scrape up on that end of the farm too. I'd sprayed some fresh Black Widow stuff into it. You know, at this time of the year, I was using doe Matriarch and dominant buck. Sometimes that really piques their curiosity and they want to come out early and see who the heck is working their scrape. So we're sitting there and, you know, we have a great encounter with some other deer. And I just thought for sure I was going to pound this buck that night. I just thought he's going to come in, I'm going to see him, because I've only hunted this farm very few times. And every time I do, because I give it such little pressure, I normally encounter the deer I'm chasing. I don't know what to say. It just didn't happen. And I was a little bummed out. Now this is hunt number 2, you know, and I know, as I've preached on this show, that the more you hunt, especially the interior like this, the less your chances are of killing the deer you want. So when I left the farm that night, I was a little bit nervous, you know, but I knew that I just had to monitor the cameras, and I knew he was still there, and it was just a matter of, you know, making the right move. Well, and it's that time of year, you know, them bucks their hormones are just starting to kick in just a little bit. You know, you're getting to what people call the October lull. Then once they get through that lull, their hormones really start shooting and you get that pre-rut. But what I didn't want to do was try to hunt this buck late October, because I knew I was going to be gone. Once he started roaming like that, I may not get a shot at him. So I told Javin, I was like, you know what? We're going to have to put the full court press on this buck. The cameras are showing that he is still here. He's walking around. He's still comfortable. So October 12th rolls around. I get the north wind I need, and we jump into the Redneck Ghillie blind again, the same blind I hunted the very first night. And I'm like, he has been in front of this blind way too many times for him not to show up here at some point. We are going to catch him. Our access to this blind is great. We can get in and out of it without alerting a lot of the deer. And so I felt safe trying to do it one more time. I'm sitting there. I'm actually self-filming on this hunt. And, you know, I knew that I had to make it happen. You know, it was just that feeling that, you know, it's either tonight or I'm going to give it a good full week and stay out of this farm, because we'd been in there, you know, this would be the 3rd time within like 5 days. So I'm like, I've got to make it happen. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm seeing all kinds of deer at the other end of the field again, the same place that he had come out before. And I was watching a really great buck that I was just sitting there dreaming about, that he would make it one more year. And I called him Double Shovels because he had like some palmated ends. I'd never seen the deer before. I just started getting pictures of him that year, and I was thinking, man, this could be a great buck coming in the future. Thinking, man, next year that'd be a deer I'd want to put my tag on. So as that deer was kind of getting my attention for most of the night, I still hadn't seen my target buck, and I was like, I don't know where he's at, you know. And time's starting to get a little bit late, you know, and I'm just sitting there and I'm being quiet, just doing my thing, and I'm watching the other end of the field. And I look to my left, and I mean, I watched him literally just walk right out of the woods 30 yards away.
Holy smokes. He's done. I just heard him crash. Oh my gosh. He come out. I just had a doe come out, and she didn't like it at all. She didn't like that. The wind was just, it was starting in, and I had a black widow scent stick here on down here on the ground. And I had right here, and I had this thing open. Just sitting here, it's open, and just trying to it's got that Matriarch scent in it. Just trying to cover me up a little bit. And it was just enough to hold him up right there. He was gonna come out and walk across this gap, but he started to get nervous, and he didn't want to. He's a nice bug. Just a big old bruiser. He's a big old buck. Just a cool deer, big mature Ohio whitetail. I mean, you really can't ask for a whole lot more. I killed him out of the Redneck Ghillie blind. It was the perfect setup. I had a funnel zone where these two deer, where all these deer were passing through from one block of woods into another block of woods right in the entrance of a soybean field. And it's just really awesome spot. And I'd been monitoring these deer all summer, about 100 yards away on a feeder that I'd had a bunch of big tine 30-06 and Protein Plus stuffed into, and really made for a good way to monitor the deer and kind of learn their habits and what they were doing. So just a big old Ohio bruiser. Can't be any more happy. Just a lot of good things came together to make it happen.
On this hunt, you're going to follow team member Thane Pyatt as he's in a pre-rut situation October 26th in Ohio.